You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
I'm Stephen Cabral, and today on our Mindset and Motivation Monday, I'm going to share with you a little bit of what I learned last week. So I thought this was really interesting from my perspective, and I actually touched on it a little bit in my weekend host calls. So if you didn't check those out last two episodes, do check those out. I mean, we answer so many great questions over the weekend, and I'm telling you, their own little 5-minute mini episodes. I don't talk about them all individually on other podcasts, so I highly recommend making sure that you're listening to every house call. They really are their own show on little mini topics. But one of the things I want to talk about today is something I learned, and it hit me pretty hard last week, and I figured that this, honestly, is the fastest way to rewire your brain for success in a certain area. And that is this. And now, again, this has been explained in ancient times from the great Tao, sometimes pronounced Tao, T-A-O, and it's something that people experience every day as they're going through a specific fast, which I want to talk about a little later in the episode, because a fast can often get you into the right mindset, believe it or not, about anything in your life. So I'm going to touch on that towards the end. Right now, I want to tell you just a little bit about what I experienced. So my goal over the last quarter of this year is to meet with as many energy-based practitioners as I can, because it's something that I don't have a lot of experience in. Believe it or not, I'm actually a certified Reiki practitioner. I'm a certified yoga instructor. I'm certified in a lot of those other areas. I studied acupuncture in China and Marma points in India. But, and although I totally believe in energy, I don't use it in my practice at all. I don't do Reiki, I don't do acupuncture, I don't do Marma points. Again, not that I don't believe in them, I do. However, I only practice things in my practice, my Boston practice, that I can replicate with every single person that comes in. Which means if you come to me with IBS, Crohn's, colitis, SIBO, whatever it might be, Candida, you're getting well. Bottom line, you're getting well. I know exactly what to do. If you come in with an autoimmune issue, we're getting well. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, you're getting well. That's just the bottom line. So I can't get into the energy part of it yet because I know how to get people well from the other aspects. But I do believe adding in both the naturopathic medicine, the functional medicine, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, it's just semantics, with this energy part would just, I think it would do wonders. So I want to learn as much about it as I can, and I'm a novice in this area. Yes, I've read books on it, but books aren't enough. You have to study with great mentors. So I met with we'll call him a mentor last week, a man in his 70s who's been doing this for 35 years. Obviously, a little bit of history, right? So what he shared with me, just in particular, is one line, was this. He shared a story about how a man who was really troubled before in his life about losing a job that he really identified with, meaning that he worked for 10 years to build up a very successful company. And during hard economics times, he lost that company and he lost a lot of his wealth and a lot of his identity with that. So that was a big deal for him. Now, he went to this mentor to speak with him and see what he could do. And then again, keep in mind, this is a parable. When he then left from that appointment, and again, still feeling dejected, still feeling very upset, he got into a car accident. In that car accident, he actually lost his leg. So while he's in the hospital, he's thinking about how upset about how he is, about how he's not going to be able to walk. He's going to have to learn to live a life with only one leg. But at that time, worrying about his leg, he was not worrying about how he just lost his job and his wealth. That wasn't on his mind anymore. More pressing things, a bigger priority was in his face, and that was the loss of a limb. But then after that, about 2 months later, he was actually diagnosed with cancer. and he was given 6 months to live. And during that diagnosis, his thought about only having one leg completely left him. He would be grateful and happy if it was only the loss of that limb, but now he had to deal with the thought that he could be dead within 6 months from now. A very troubling thing, of course. So now he has a new priority, something else that's much larger struggle in life, of course, right? What could be more important than that? So this story, although a parable, and again, could happen to anyone, just hit me, and I started to think about that. Wow. So a lot of the issues that I'm dealing with or others are dealing with right now can be found to be small or pale in comparison if we got something more severe happen in our life, right? We would actually be happy. We would be grateful to be dealing with the issues that we're dealing with currently. If our worry right now is some anxiety, or if our worry right now is some depression, or if our worry right now is trying to lose weight, or we have digestive-based issues, how much would we not be upset about it if we were to find out something was wrong with a parent or a child or one of those things? That then puts it back into perspective. So when I thought about this, I said, well, we can't deny the fact that a lot of people are in pain and suffering right now, but we can change our thought process about what we're currently experiencing. So my representation of it was this, that if we got more of the suffering that we were going through right now, it would make us more grateful for the things that we do have or had before that loss, whatever that loss is. Sometimes it is a loss of a parent, a friend, a coworker, someone who meant a lot to you, or sometimes it is a worse diagnosis for ourselves where, yes, we had some back pain before, but it certainly was not X, whatever it is, that more challenging level. And how I like to share this as well is that a lot of people right now are struggling with their nutrition. They're struggling with addictions to food. They're struggling with eating well. This was actually in our support group online. A lot of people said that they struggle for that first day or 2 days of when doing a detox. And again, let's just talk about the specific one we have, the Dr. Cabral detox, where you're doing the first 2 days of 4 shakes per day. It's liquid nutrition for 2 days. It gives you all the nutrients that you need, but you're not consuming whole food. And that's a challenge because you know what? You're around food. You're around other people who are going to lunch. You might be even going to lunch with them. You might be having dinner with your family and they're having dinner and you're not. That is a temptation. That is a struggle. That is something hard that you're going to have to deal with. However, what I find is that this 2 days rewires that brain and shortens the learning curve to such a drastic degree that it might take years without it, years of struggling with it. And why? Because of this. On day 3, you're having a shake for breakfast, but then lunch. Lunch is your first whole food meal and is a vegetarian style, vegan style lunch. And when you get ready to have that meal, it is like you've eaten for the first time. You savor all of the flavors, and you may never be used to eating a vegan base. You may never be used to eating chickpeas or something like that before. And you eat this meal, you chew slowly. The flavors are something like you've never tasted before. It's an amazing breakthrough. For all of those people who've never liked vegetables before, this is how you cure that in 2 days. This is how you rewire your brain in just 2 days. It is a remarkable thing, and the reason I bring it up is I don't think I've seen a success story yet that doesn't talk about how it helped them develop a new healthy lifestyle and eating style for the future. So all I could think about is that this would never happen. Our appreciation for what we do have, our appreciation for food, our appreciation for how grateful we should be to be blessed with all of this food around us where others don't have this, really becomes apparent when you haven't eaten for 2 days. You've just had liquid nutrition. Again, you're getting all the nutrients you need. You're helping to decrease that inflammation. You're helping to actually eliminate all of that toxic water weight, decrease a lot of those toxins from your body because, again, you're not putting new stuff in. Remarkable. I've never seen anything like that. I believe that although you can do the detox by not doing those first 2 days, those first 2 days do so much more than just body transformation and wellness transformation. They actually transform the way that we think about what we eat. People have told me over and over that, you know what? What I thought about was I might not need the caffeine. I might not need the coffee. I might not, and again, you don't have to give it up for the detox as well, but maybe I could go without animal protein at lunch and just do it at dinner. It just starts to rewire. It leaves yourself open to possibility. So now how does this apply to everything else? Well, if you succeed in one area of your life, it gives you confidence. It gives you confidence that you may be able to then tackle really hard challenges in other areas of your life. That resiliency, that ability to go through 2 days like that makes you stronger. It really does build character. You understand you can overcome things. You could go 2 days without eating. I mean, how many people have ever tried that? Until a couple thousand years ago, even 1,000 years ago, we didn't have access to daily fresh food all the time. That would not be apparent. That would not be in our lives. Crops could be lost. Harvests could be lost. All sorts of different things. There was no refrigeration. Like, these things are built into our DNA to be able to go without food. But psychologically, can we go without it? Or are we not mentally strong enough? Because really, it's all about the mental attitude. So whether you are going through, again, hardships in your life outside of nutrition, body transformation, wellness, it can always be worse. And sometimes you have to experience things like this to be able to understand you can go without. I know a lot of people who actually take a kind of vow of poverty, of living on a very little meager salary they give themselves for a month, really, which means that they go without, they just eat very simply, maybe rice and some vegetables and maybe a little bit of protein for all of their meals. They don't buy any new purchases, no new clothes, no new books, no new anything. They go to the library instead. What they do is they teach themselves that they could live on very little money. And so then their apprehension, their nervousness about maybe switching a job, or their always belief that they need to make more and make more and make more, they understand that it's not always about all these material things. I thought that was beautiful when I heard that as well. It's kind of like a Stoic-based philosophy, right? If you've ever heard of Stoicism. So believe me, this can be used in any area of your life. I could talk about this all day, but I won't. So what I want to leave you is that I want you to just start to think about whatever it is that you're struggling with right now. What would it look like if it was 10x, meaning like 10x worse? What is a worst case scenario? What is much worse than you're going through right now? So you don't love your job, but what if you had a job that you just absolutely detest? What if you didn't have any job at all? Start to think about those things. Then you can start to say, you know what? I may not love my job, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that it pays me a salary that then allows my children to go to school or myself to be able to travel on vacation, whatever it might be. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for the health that you do have. Be grateful that maybe you're 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, but you're not 150 pounds overweight, that you don't have an autoimmune issue. Remember, everyone can always 10x where they're at right now. Start to think about that right now. Believe me. You should always work to improve your life, but at times it's important to have perspective. I call it gratitude and perspective, the two most important words that I believe we're missing right now in our vocabulary. Gratitude and perspective. Gratitude that we might not have it all, but we should be thankful for where we're at. Perspective that it could be so much worse. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Cabral Concept. And again, if this episode or any episode could help someone else in your life, someone else that you know, please do feel free to pass it on to them. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.